Robert Klitzke, a former Republican senator and a well-known penny pincher when it comes to public funds, has some thoughts on the budget deliberations currently underway at the legislature.
Well, on budgets in general, the revenue projection is critical. And I would like to see a revenue projection that is very conservative. In other words, take a look at last year's budget, take a look at last year's revenue. That's what this year's budget should be.
Last year's revenue should be this year's budget. By that standard, Governor Calvo's request for $765 million next year is on track with the projected revenues for 2012. Although not all the 2012 revenues are in yet.
Revenue projection, yeah. And I think it should take off from last year's revenue collected. And probably it shouldn't be any more than that. That's how you develop a surplus. If you collected $600 million last year and you project for $600 million this year and you actually collect $610 million, then you've got $10 million to pay down the deficit.
But too often, Klitzke warns, lawmakers have been betting that revenues will improve year on year, and they've allocated additional funding on the hope of more income.
That's quite often the thought process. Last year we didn't collect as much revenue as we thought we should. Right. But this year things are going to be better.
And you're wishing that you'll get more money.
You're hoping, yeah, you got your fingers crossed that you'll collect more than you collected last year.
But that's not a good way to plan.
It isn't the way that I would like to do it.
Klitzke's advice: deal with the priorities first, then see how much is left over for the rest.
Priorities: education, public health, public safety. No more nice-to-haves, no more boondoggles.
And in these tight budget times, Klitzke, a well-known critic of excessive perks and pay at the legislature, also suggests that lawmakers themselves set the example.
If the legislature is going to make the hard calls, make the tough decisions, then it has to be able to lead by example and say, look, this is what we've done. This is what we've done to our own paychecks, our own fringe benefits, etc. If they did that, then they've got the moral high ground to say that we've got to do some cutting in other parts of the government.
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.